First of all, the promise of baptism. Acts 1:8. But you will receive power. Everybody say power. Say it again, with power. You will receive power when the Holy Spirit has come upon you, and you shall be my witnesses both in Jerusalem and all of Judea and Samaria and even to the remotest parts of the earth. In John 14, chapter 16 and 17, it reminds us that the Spirit will dwell in us. This is Jesus speaking, and he says, and I will ask the Father, and he will give you another helper that may be with you forever. That is the Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive because it does not see him or know him. But you know him because he abides with you and will be in you. You see, this is a great level of understanding for us to gather here. Is Jesus is telling his disciples about the baptism of the Holy Spirit. He's saying right now the Spirit is with you. But he's saying, and will be in you. You see, there's a difference between the Spirit of God being with us and being in us. Luke chapter 24, verse 49 says, and behold, I am sending forth the promise of my Father upon you. But you are to stay in the city until you are clothed with power from on high. Now, one of the things I think is important to talk about is baptism is distinct from the indwelling. What do I mean when I talk about the indwelling? Well, this happens at salvation. John chapter 20, verses 19 to 22 says this. So when it is in the evening of the day and the first day of the week, and the doors were shut, and the disciples were for fear of the Jews, Jesus came and stood in their midst and said to them, peace be with you. And when he said this, he showed them both his hands on his side, and the disciples then rejoiced that they saw the Lord. And Jesus said to them again, peace be with you. As the Father has sent me, I also send you. And when he had said this, he breathed on them and said to them, receive the Holy Spirit. Now, we talked about this a few weeks ago. Every believer has the indwelling of the Holy Spirit. When we believe, that point of conversion, the Holy Spirit comes and dwells within us. Okay, we call that the indwelling. It's the process of the Spirit bringing our spirit to life. Remember the story of Nicodemus that we talked about. Jesus said to Nicodemus, you must be born again. And Nicodemus says, well, I can't go back into my mother's womb. How am I born again? And Jesus says, well, what's born of the Spirit must be of the Spirit, and what's born of flesh must be of the flesh. Jesus was telling him, hey, you got to be born of the Spirit. And that's what happens at conversion. And so every believer that has confessed Jesus as the Lord, has received his forgiveness, has the Spirit of God dwelling in them. But what we're talking today is the next step. And this is many different ways of phrasing it. I'm just going to use the word baptism, the Holy Spirit baptism. And this is the empowerment for service and witness. So every believer has the Holy Spirit dwelling within them, but the baptism is kind of like the infilling, is another word. Now, the reason why I use baptism distinct from infilling, and this is not a theology or anything, I just use it to keep it straight in my own mind, is baptism is like the first time you've been filled with the Holy Spirit. But it's never have we been told you just get it once and done, right? It's the infilling. It's actually, in the Greek, it's a progressive word meaning ongoing. Keep moving, keep going on. And so what I kind of do for my own benefit is I talk about baptism as kind of the first time you felt that, and an infilling is every subsequent time. Now you're saying, how often should you be filled with the Holy Spirit? Well, I'm talking about how many times do you breathe during a day. Okay, that's kind of the same area. We should always be seeking to be filled more. And this goes beyond just Sunday morning. Like a lot of you, when you come to church on Sunday morning, you feel that infilling of the Holy Spirit. You get that for refreshing. I kind of look at that as eating. How many of you eat once a week? No, you got to eat 3 times a day. Well, I think you got to be filled with the Spirit 3 times a day.